Hello again, and welcome to Tween Tuesday Challenge. I'm Miss Janice.
I'm Miss Dana.
And we are at the brand new Good Hope Library yet again. Nice to see you all guys again. We can't be with you in person today, but we are excited to bring you programs like this online so we continue to share, learn, and have fun with you and your families from a safe distance. So let's get started. For today's project, we are going to do something called circle weaving. So weaving is a very, very old and ancient art form, but it's also, if you look around you, it's used for things like rugs. And they used to be used for wall hangings, which were decorative, but also in like medieval times, they were used for things like keeping the drafts out in castles. So you can see, they still have them in museums, beautiful, elaborate tapestries, and those were done with weaving. And weaving has all kinds of forms. This is called tapestry weaving, what we're doing today, actually. So the materials that you will need: piece of cardboard. You can use, we just cut out from boxes today, but you can use cereal boxes, shoe boxes, anything that's a sturdy cardboard. You can even use a paper plate if you want to. Pencil or marker, crayon, scissors. Miss Dana has safety scissors. I have grown-up scissors. Yarn. I just have all kinds of little and lots of yarn lying around. Something to trace a circle with. So today we have disinfectant wipes, but I'm going to use that to trace a circle with. And if you want to, Miss Dana and I have what are called sewing needles or big-eyed yarn needles. Ours are plastic. You can get them at any craft store. They were 99 cents. But if you don't have them, for a 2-pack, exactly, you can use just your fingers. So, are you going to do
some tape?
Oh, and tape. We forgot tape. That's right. So I will show y'all really quickly. I'm just going to move my camera down so you guys can see it like this. So we're just going to trace around a circle. It can be any, I'm going to sit back down, pull it back up. It's going to be any size circle you want. Ours just happened to be the size of what we had sitting around. But you can make it small, you can make it large, and you just start cutting out. So while I cut, Miss Dana is going to show you the next step.
Yep, so as Miss Janice cut out her circle, I already cut mine out, and what you're going to want to do is put notches. So I just took a pencil and I drew an odd number of notches. So we all know that an odd number is something that can't be evenly divided by 2. So I drew 8 notches and then a 9th one, and then I just cut like maybe 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch in to the circle. So then what you are going to do with those notches is start your warp. So there are the two threads when you're weaving are called warp and weft. So the warp is kind of like the base, like the frame of what you're going to be working on. So to start with the warp, I'm just going to tape a piece to the back of my cardboard, piece of yarn, just like that to hold it in place. Oops. And then, I don't know if you can see it, but there's my first notch, so I'm going to go like that. And here's the front of my loom, so I'm going to just go to the one right across it. And then just keep doing that until all of your notches are filled. Your last notch will have 2 threads, look like it's 2 threads coming out, because here's the 9th thread, and then I'm just going to put it right in that one. So you can see it looks like there are 2 going into there, but once we do the next step, that'll kind of disappear. So because I had a lot of extra yarn, I'm just going to snip that off and tape that piece down too, so it doesn't go loose. Just like that. Then I'm going to take a piece of my wefting yarn that I'm going to just put through the center right there. And that's kind of how the yarn will kind of pinch these 2 strings, so that way it's 1 instead of 2. So I'm going to slide this under there. Let's see. I'm just going to kind of pinch the middle and push it through. And it does not have to be perfect. Just do the best you can. And then, once you've got it in the middle like that, you're just gonna tie a little knot. Like this. How is your cutting going, Miss Jannis?
Oh, I got it cut out. I'm still trying to get them evenly spaced and to make sure that they're an odd number, but that's the marks that I made, and then I'll show you guys. You don't have to cut very far in when you do one of your notches. So you just cut in just a little bit. So my cuts are only probably maybe an inch deep.
So as you can see, I've finished the knot, and you can see it's, you know, holding together all of these strings. And then, now that we've got the warp done, we can start the weft. And to do that, if you do have a sewing needle or big-eyed plastic needle, you just thread the yarn through, and you are gonna start by going under and then over. So this is how it's gonna go. You're gonna have one under and then one over, and then pull it through. And then because it was over this one, we're gonna go under that one. You only wanna get one, over, and then under. And you just keep doing that in a repeating pattern, over, under, over, under. And Miss Jannis will show you what it looks like once you get that far.
Yep, so this is the one I've been doing. So you can kind of see it makes this beautiful sort of, I know the only word I can think of is undulating, right? So it's a pattern that kind of goes like that, like waves, right? And you'll know if you're, so when you get to the beginning of where you started, and I usually make just a little like, little extra notch or an S or something like that to know where my starting point was. It's very easy to accidentally put it like over two or under two, and then you'll notice that your pattern changes. So I've been doing what Miss Dana said. So this last one, you can see I went under, so I'm gonna go over, under, over, and you can kind of just weave your needle like that. And then I kind of, oh, go ahead.
Oh, it does work without a needle. It might just take you a little longer, but you'll get the same exact end result.
Right. And I pulled mine a little tight just to make sure. Sometimes you can, so on tapestry looms, they have it's like, looks like a comb that you use for your hair, and it kind of pulls them down like that. And you just keep going around and around. So what I was going to show you guys is when you're going to attach a new color. It's very, very easy. And my yarn just came out, so. What you do is, it's easier. So if you have like a ball, an old ball of yarn like this, don't have it stay attached to the ball. Just cut off like maybe a foot, you know, or if you have a ruler or yardstick, you know. So I just cut off, like double it over maybe, and then with a little extra, you just cut off a piece. And then you're gonna tie a knot, and I tie what's called a square knot, but so you cross them over like this. And then that same piece that you just crossed over, you're going to use that to go back and cross over the other way. So you can kind of see, if we hold it up close here.
Makes a square.
Makes like a figure eight too. So you pull that, and those do not come apart. So if you pull both ends, it makes it really nice and tight. And so then I just trim off the edges. And then what you're going to do, if you have scissors that aren't dull like mine.
I think my safety scissors are sharper.
Probably yes. So then I'm gonna thread my little needle again. We're gonna go around, and I think I had a little bit of the orange left, so I'll make it get to the point where the gray starts, so I can show you all what I did, which is, you're going to have a knot and it will show, but what you can do is you can take your needle or a pencil or the tip of a pen, and you can kind of squish it under your weaving that's already there and hide it. So I'll show you all because the gray is about to start here. Okay, so you can see there's the knot right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take it and I'm gonna try and tuck it under kind of a little bit. I'm gonna snug up my yarn and I'll kind of poke under there. And then when I come back around, the next row of color, this gray color, is gonna start covering it up. So you won't even see the knots. But if you do, the nice thing about weaving, and weaving is also all about, it's not just about color and form, it's also about texture. So you can see in Miss Dana's right there, she made hers, like mine is a little flatter, right? But Miss Dana took a lot of thicker yarns and made hers with a lot of really beautiful texture, right? So you can take things, it's called roving, but a lot of people just call it fluff. It's what's used, so after wool is taken off of a sheep, after it's sheared off a sheep, and it's processed a little bit, but before it's spun into yarn, it's called roving, and it's nice and thick and puffy. You can just pull it off like a cloud. You can weave with that too, and it's really beautiful. It makes like really beautiful kind of just puffs of yarn. Nice. So if you like,
people used roving for the weaving too. I've only seen the what is it where you scab the roving to make the
felting it. Yep.
Yes, felting.
Yes. Yeah, people put roving into tapestry, and it's really beautiful because I've seen people put it in braided. So there's like a big wavy piece of a braid. Yeah.
Nice.
If you guys get really interested in this, there's a ton of YouTube videos, and you can look them up, and you can see some beautiful tapestries. Ones I used to follow a lady on Instagram, huge wall hangings, gorgeous, gorgeous wall hangings that had that kind of beautiful texture on them.
And you can find books about textiles and different weaving styles through different cultures and countries at the library. So visit countycat.mcflis, that's MCFLS.org. You can type in weaving or textiles or tapestries, and you should get some good results.
So I was just gonna show you guys. So I've gone all the way around a couple times with the gray, and you can't see the knot anymore. Yeah. Because it just got tucked up under, and then this yarn on the outer part snugged it up. And the nice thing also about weaving is it's a really fun way to play with color, right? So I happen to be a knitter, and I've been doing it for like 20 years. So I have lots and lots and lots of tiny little balls of yarn, and you can play with color, right? So I just did whatever I thought was, and a color that I thought would just, and some of these, they blend, and some of them, like the gray and orange, are sort of on opposite ends of the spectrum. Yeah, see, Miss Dana's used greens and oranges and blues.
Yeah, some multicolored yarn. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun way to just play with color, and it's also kind of like I'd mentioned, I think, in the crochet video that I did, it's very meditative, right? It's a nice way to just kind of like, maybe your brain is a little busy some days, right? And
for your hands.
Yeah. And you want to just calm down a little bit and just have maybe a little quiet time. And weaving, any kind of hand arts, things that you use for your hands, it frees your brain up to not be so busy and worried all the time. So anyways, Dana's going to show you how to take it off the loom now.
Yeah, so if you like the way it looks on the cardboard, of course you can leave it on there. But if you want to take it off and have like a small coaster or even just a small wall hanging, I had made another one that I put on my bulletin board at my desk just because it's pretty, it's got lots of colors I like, and the textures look nice. So to do this, we are going to first take off the tape that's holding it on. So I'm going to pull that off. Not very good at pulling it off, apparently. All right, there we go. And then I'm going to cut through the middle of the warp in the back. So this is the front side, this is the back side. And I'm just going to cut through, them all. And I'm going to carefully pull off my woven piece. And I don't think I did a great job making it flat. I didn't do it tight enough, but that's okay because you can take it off and turn it into a little bowl.
I love it.
Yeah, this was kind of unexpected, but I'm really liking it.
Yep.
So you can see all of the warp. So what we're going to do with that is tie them together. So I'm just going to read my directions really quick. And let's see. Yeah, tie loose tails together in sets of 2. So I've got 2, and I'm just going to tie them together. And this will make it so my weaving doesn't come undone. And say you did want your piece flat, you would just be doing this on the table. You would flatten it out and do it on the table, but I like the bowl look, so I'm just gonna keep tying around the way.
Yeah, the other thing that I was telling Miss Dana the other day that I learned long ago when I did a crochet class where I was learning how to make snowflakes out of very, very, very tiny yarn and needles. One of the things you can do is you can take a mixture of just Elmer's school glue and some water. And if I wanted to make mine a coaster, you can soak it in that glue and then let it dry, and it stiffens it up. And then it makes it, like a nice coaster. But maybe you want to just make it like as a pretty wall hanging, right? And you could just have that just as a circle. Circles have a lot of different meaning, I think, right? So
yeah, they are never ending. They're connected.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just about done tying my ends. And yep, last one. And we'll flip. Okay, and there's the nice little bowl. As you can see, we've got the warp left over, and what you can do with that is just thread it into your weft. So I'm not going to take the time to thread these tiny little ones into the needle, but I'm just going to tuck it in and back over. So depending on, I used clearly like a white yarn for my warp, and so the white might show up a little bit, but not necessarily. So I'm just gonna keep doing that around the way, just kind of tucking it in. Let's see. I don't know if Miss Jannis has any tips for weaving ends in.
Yeah, you can just, the nice thing about things like weaving and crochet is you can easily hide things in. Yeah. So you can use your needle if you like, thread those on there and just kind of weave it through every other back and forth and just hide them up in there.
Yeah. Actually, maybe I went the wrong way. Maybe instead of going horizontally, I should go vertically and
down, yeah.
Yeah, downwards, and then just kind of thread it through and pull it through. Yeah, and then that hides it really nicely. You can not see that thread. Yeah, just for the sake of time, I will probably keep working on this, but there you have your very own woven piece of art. I've got a little bowl.
Nice.
All right, well, thanks for crafting along with us today. We hope you enjoyed the video and learned something about the art and history of textiles and weaving. Feel free to share your project with us on social media using the hashtag #MPLCreates. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So check out the library's website for a full schedule and more information about our virtual offerings at mpl.org/stayconnected. See you next time.
Bye.